Hello, everybody. Steve the Hurricane here. Happy New Year. Very, very, very excited to be doing this webinar for each and every one of you to kick off 2018 and make it your best year yet. And we're going to give a couple seconds for everybody to jump on. There was, I think, 230 some odd people who were registered for this webinar, and people are jumping on right now. I see my counter just shooting up, which is great. So we're going to give everybody a moment to get situated there and get on. And I just hope that each and every one of you, no matter where you finished last year in business, if you had a great year, congratulations. It's now 2018. We're going to make it better. If you had an okay year, all right, well, you did okay, but guess what? It's 2018, and you're going to make it even better this year. And if you had a bad year last year, you know what? It's in the past now. 2017 is over. It is a fresh start, a new beginning. Those resolutions, those goals should be set. Everything should be put into motion. 2018 is going to be your year. And I'm very, very excited to be doing this webinar. And I haven't done a public webinar in a long time. And for some of you who know who I am, some of you don't know who I am. And I'll go through some stuff about my history, my background, because I used to own a home care business, folks. I owned a home care business for 7 years. 7 years. And I took that company when I came on as a business development director, doing about 600, 700 grand a year. I took it over $5 million a year in 4 years' time. It's absolutely incredible. When we sold that company in 2011, we sold that company for several $1 million. We were billing out $114,000 my last week on the job before I started Hurricane Marketing Enterprises and speaking internationally now to people all around the world. And it's just been an amazing ride ever since. And I'm truly, truly blessed and honored to be here and to speak to you to kick off this year. So 3 things I want you to do as you're on right now. There's more people jumping on, but those of you who are on time, we're going to jump right into this, all right? So number 1, take out a notebook and a pen, all right? Steve the Hurricane, I'm going to give you a lot of stuff here. If you've ever been on a webinar of mine before in the past, I always give a lot of content, a lot of information. So I'm going to give you a lot of stuff here. So make sure you have a notebook and a pen. I will do some questions at the very, very end, but not much. All right, we got a foot of snow yesterday here in New Jersey where I am, where my office is, and I got other things that I have to get to. So as soon as I'm finished the webinar, I'll answer 1 or 2 of your questions that you ask in little questions pane over here. But then I'm going to move on. So make sure you have a notebook and a pen in your hand so you can take notes. I speak fast, so I'm going to give you a lot, but be ready to take notes. Number 2, what I need you to do is I need you to make sure that you have an open mind, okay? An open mind. Why do I want you to have an open mind? Because if you start saying things like, that's not going to work, it doesn't work for me, not in my territory, get all that stuff out of your head, all right? As I said to you before, I'm an international speaker. I'm going to talk a little about my history, my background later on. I have clients in all 50 states. I have clients in Great Britain, clients in Ghana, Africa, Brazil, Canada, and even Australia. If you follow me on social media, you'll see my Australian clients came to the United States and they visited me about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And it's amazing. So trust me, it works in any territory. The only way it wouldn't work in your territory is if there's something going on in your mind there. So get out the negativity, get out the I can'ts. Instead, I can, yes, I can, yes, I will. You can even say it. Go ahead, say, yes, I can. Say it. Yes, I can. All right, good. So you got the negativity out. You have an open mind now. Yes, you can do this, okay? And then the last thing, and obviously, I mean, people come on webinars, Steve, you going to try and sell me something? Of course I'm going to try and sell you something. I want you to come to the boot camp. Why do I want you to come to the boot camp? Because the boot camp is amazing. Amazing. This is my 16th boot camp. This is the only time in the next 12 months I'm going to do the Referral Masters Bootcamp because it's all about generating professional referrals. So if you want more referrals, if you want referrals from rehab centers and hospitals and home health and hospice and skilled nursing facilities and assisted living communities and independent, if you want more referrals and you don't know how to get them, then you need to be at this event. And then, I'll catch the next one. Okay, well, the next one will be 2019. So that means that if you miss this one for the Referral Masters, you got to wait an entire year before you're really going to grow your business. That doesn't make sense. This is the most important thing. I'm going to give you a discount code, talk more about that later on. But this is the event of the year to kick it off. So you can write that down. February 14 through 16, Irvine, California. Sunny California. I love California. They're having it at the Hotel Irvine. It's a gorgeous hotel. I've been at numerous events there over the years. Great time. Great people in Southern California. It's going to be fun. So I want to give a shout out to Home Care Pulse. For those of you who don't know who Home Care Pulse is, they are pretty much the only, I kind of call them an almanac, although it's a benchmark study, but I like to call it an almanac because they collect the data from 1,200 plus home care companies all around the United States. And then what they do with this data is they compile it to see, well, what does it cost to get a client, and how much does it cost to get a caregiver, and what are the operational metrics? How much should we pay our staff, and what are some of the bonus structures that people are doing, and where is the business coming from, and how much money does it take us to run our agency, and what are the numbers of the agency? What percentage of all home care companies in the country are doing less than $1 million? What percentage are doing $1 million to $1.5 million? What percentage do $1.5 million to $2 million, and $2 million to $3 million, and $3 million and beyond? Like they compile all this data, and so all the charts that I'm going to share with you come from the Home Care Pulse, the 2017 Almanac. The 2018 one will come out sometime in April, May timeframe. I'm a very big fan of Home Care Pulse and the data they put in. And the reason why I'm just going to show you the data is because I want you to realize that everything I'm saying is true. Like, for those of you who don't know who I am, you saw something on Facebook, and this guy could be a scam artist and everything else. I'm not, all right? But I'm just, just playing devil's advocate here. I could be a scam artist, and you have no idea who I am, and I'm going to tell you all this stuff. Well, it's one thing if I tell you all the stuff. It's another thing if I tell you this is what we have to do, and then I back it up with what actually works and people are doing with the proof in the pudding from the study, the independent study that worked with 1,200 people. When you hear what they say to do matches what I'm going to tell you to do, it works, and that's the reason why we have so many happy, successful clients all around the world and why I speak at so many conferences and conventions. And real quick, who am I, right? This guy right here, this is an old picture of me. I got a couple more grays now. I have 3 children, okay? So, and with the snowstorm, they were home for all of Christmas break, and then we had the snowstorm, and they were home yesterday, and they're home today, and they are driving me and my wife crazy. I cannot wait for my kids to go back to school. I love them to death, but they need to go to school, right? So, anyway, so who am I, Steve the Hurricane? I want you to know, folks, it says done this firsthand for over 10 years. I got in the business in 2005, August 15th, 2005. So I have been in home care, in the home care industry, both as an owner-operator and as a support business with Hurricane Marketing Enterprises, my company, since 2005. All right, so it's 2018, so we're talking about 13 years in this business, in this industry. I have helped hundreds of companies through our coaching program that we offer. I think I've coached about 362, 365, something like that, agencies all around the country and internationally. I have trained thousands of people, thousands of individuals at conferences, at conventions, and symposiums and consortiums, and obviously the boot camps that I talked about earlier. Thousands and thousands of people. And I'm asked to come back, and I'm not bragging because, believe it or not, I'm more of a humble person than you realize. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I serve the Lord. I'm a deacon on Sundays. I preach 5-10 times a year. That's who I am as a person outside of this persona. But it's an honor and a privilege to be able to serve so many. It's an honor and a privilege to have been invited to speak at these events. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to share the knowledge that I've learned over the years and really help. I'm looking at in my office right now, I have all these Christmas cards and these thank you notes and these letters that people have written, like, you saved my business, you helped me grow. We grew our business by $500,000 in the last 6 months because of what you said. Like, you changed my life. It is such an honor and a blessing to be able to serve you. And so I humbly thank you for being on this webinar, and thank you for listening to me. And this is where it is. I wrote the book, and the marketer said, let there be leads. I have a book coming out in a few weeks, Why We Care, where myself and 9 of my clients got together and wrote the book on home care. It was supposed to come out a couple months ago. We had some setbacks, but it's coming out in a couple of weeks now. And then if you go on YouTube, you can see I have hundreds of videos on how to grow your home care business. And it's interesting when you hear about these YouTube phenoms, because that's how I got started, literally in my basement, standing at the bar where my friends would come over on Sunday during football games, and I would just talk business with you and to drink with the hurricane. And we had a glass of wine or a glass of water. Now I switched to coffee and tea as I've gotten older and wiser, right? And so this is why, I truly love what I do. And, I'm going to share my story with you real quick for a second. Back in 2005, when I first came on the scene, oh, you can't see my screen. Oh, no, I'm so sorry, everybody. Well, that's interesting. There you go. There you go. Now you can see my screen. It starts the broadcast, and it starts recording, but it doesn't show you the screen. So this is who I am, all right? I was just talking about that before. This is the Home Care Pulse. I thanked them for that before. This is the boot camp. These are the dates I want you to write down so you see that, everybody, okay? Because there's over 100 of us here, right? So make sure that we're all getting all this stuff. This is what I talked about before. And then this is how I opened it. So this was the slide that I had up first. I talked about the boot camp, which I'll talk about again later on, the 14th through the 16th. You must be there. Referral Masters. It's going to be amazing. The Home Care Pulse report. We thank them, as I said. And then this is my background, my bio, and who I am, which I was just talking about. So sorry about that. So now we're back in action, all right? So my story. When I came on in 2005, I was the director of business development for a very small private pay home care. And don't use the word non-medical. If you're a non-medical home care company, don't use that word. You don't want to be non-anything. We know you're non-medical. Yeah, you can't give injections. You can't give medications from the bottle. You can't do wounds. That's non-medical. We get it. Your personal care, your private pay, private duty. So I was the director of business development for a private pay, private duty home care company in New Jersey, August 15, 2005. Now, when I first came on the scene, I had no idea about the healthcare industry. My background was pastoral training. I went to school to be a pastor, and sales and marketing. I always had sales and marketing jobs. And when I came into Care Choice, which is the name of the company that I was working for, we had 16 clients. 16 clients. We were billing out between $600,000 and $700,000 a year. And from those 16 clients, I came in and I said, what are our processes? How do we answer the phone? How are we closing? How are we making connections and contacts and power partners? What's our target customer? All of these things I was asking, and the owner had no idea, because this is my background. And so that's when I started to just do the research. I started going out there, and I want you to write this down, folks. Write this term down. It's ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. Nick Bonatatabas, he's our marketing manager here at Hurricane Marketing Enterprises. He shared this article the other day. It talked about 13 traits of successful people, and I think it was like number 8 or number 9, where they talked about successful people don't get hung up on perfection. They get hung up on results. And so there are so many people out there that are like, well, I got to make sure I have a dozen caregivers before I market, and I got to do this, and I got to make sure I know this, and I know that. They have to know everything. And what ends up happening is because they have to know everything, they're sitting on ice, and nothing is happening. They're just researching and researching and reading and preparing and reading and preparing and researching. I would rather somebody be flying by the seat of their pants on fire because they're so excited. They're out there marketing, they're meeting prospective clients, they're interviewing caregivers all simultaneously and miraculously signing people up, because that's exactly what I did. And that's how we took our census from 16 clients to over 100 clients in 4 short years, billing out over $100,000 a week because our average client was doing about $1,050 per week per client. We averaged over 40 hours per week per client when I was doing this. And it became real simple. I want you to write this down too. Before I said ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. That was the quote. Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. Now write this down. Referrals equals freedom. Referrals equals freedom. Say it. Say it to yourself at your desk. Referrals equals freedom. Referrals equals what, folks? Freedom, right? This is something that I have said many times before in many webinars and at many presentations and boot camps and conferences and everything else. Referrals equals freedom. How? If you want to have control over your business in 2018 and make it your best year yet, the more referrals you have coming in, the more control you have over how you're going to run your business. Don't worry about the caregivers. I know everybody's always concerned. I don't have caregivers. I don't have caregivers. Folks, the caregiver crisis has been a crisis for 20 years. It is never not going to be a crisis. You know what it really is, folks? It's called home care, right? Like it's part of the nature of our business. Like if I was an electrician, I'm not an electrician, but the threat of dying from electrocution is part of the job, and that could happen to me. I have to deal with that, right? So not having enough caregivers is part of the job. If I have more referrals coming in than I can handle, though, guess what I can do? I can increase my rates. You ever hear of something called supply and demand? I'm going to talk about that at the very end of this webinar here today about how to increase your rates. I want you to know that back in 2011, the year we sold CareChoice, I was charging $23.50 an hour. That is 7 years ago. I was charging $23.50 an hour when the average price in my area was $20 an hour. So I was charging $3.50 an hour more than the average competitor. Why? Because I had so many referrals coming in that we couldn't meet the demand. So our supply led how we did our business and our closing processes and our inquiry management, because we were getting, and I kid you not, I know this sounds crazy to some of you, 40, 50, 60 referrals a week at the end. You imagine what would you do? What would you do if you got 60 referrals in 1 week? 60. What would you do if you had that many referrals in a week? No wonder we were doing over $5 million a year. You know, I actually went through inflation. If we continue to increase our rates to 2018 and continue our rate of growth, we'd be doing about $10 million all private pay right now today, 7 years after we sold the company. Isn't that amazing? Referrals equals freedom. The more people calling your business, the more control you have over your business. That is essential. So it's all about getting referrals. So here's what my promise to you. You're going to be on this webinar, right? So I'm going to give you a marketing plan. I'm going to give you a marketing plan to make 2018 your best year yet, because you're going to have to go out and execute it. You're going to need help with that, all right? That's why we come into the boot camp. But I'm going to give you the marketing plan to get started right now. Now, to generate $3 million or more in a year, this is a milestone that I like to use because this is pretty much what the Home Care Pulse report views as the top 20% of all home care companies in the United States, which means that 80%, the vast majority, are doing less than $3 million a year. So everything I'm going to talk about on this webinar is how to generate $3 million or more in a single year. Now, we all hear the saying before, you know, what's this going to cost, right? It takes money to make money, right? How much money do I have to spend? Well, so you're aware, the Small Business Administration, if you go to SBA.org and look it up yourself, it'll tell you that a business doing less than $5 million a year should spend 7 to 8% of their total annual revenue, 7 to 8% on all dollars coming in on all things sales and marketing. That's what you should spend if you want to do $5 million. So let's just do the math. $5 million 8% of $5 million is $400,000. Now, if you gave me $400 grand today, you will make $5 million this year. But most people don't have that kind of money. And I think that 8% is a little bit high for home care because we can get referrals and we can do things that don't cost as much money to generate business. So I say 5%. But even still, 5% of $5 million is $250,000. So you just have to put these things in perspective, folks. If I'm doing $1 million right now, 5% of $1 million is 50 grand. If I want to do $2 million, I'm going to have to double that. It's $100,000 I have to spend, but I'm going to generate $2 million in revenue. So put that into perspective, all right? Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you a marketing plan. This is what I'm going to give you. Then I'm going to talk about execution. This is what you got to do on your own. You got to do the work, all right? Because I can't do it for you. There's over 100 people on the webinar right now. I can't be in 100 places right now. So you have to do it. If you don't do it, it's okay. You're just not going to grow your business. I'm going to give you the marketing plan. You do the work, and then you work on the supply, your caregivers, and you'll be able to generate $3 million this year. All right? First thing, how much is one client worth? And I always love this. This is updated. All right? So you see, this is from the 2017 Home Care Pulse Report. When you add this up, and this is interesting for those of you who came to the Atlanta boot camp that I did back in November, the Millionaires Boot Camp, first time I ever did a Millionaires Boot Camp. I was actually showing you a trend. For the last 3 years, this number has been going down. So it's interesting. It costs us more money to get clients today than ever before, but where revenue return on investment is lower than it has ever been. It's been in the last 3 years, the return on investment is lower. You get less money per client now than you did 3 years ago. Very, very interesting. And I got great reasons for that. I talked about it at the boot camp. Now, you add up all three of these, and I love how they show you here. People doing less than 800,000, people doing 800,000 to 1.6, 1.6 to 2.8, and then 2.8 plus, which is pretty much $3 million. Look at the people who are the leaders. Their clients are worth almost $17,000. Now, if you add up all four of these and you divide by 4, it's going to give you about $10,900 roughly. $10,900 is the financial lifetime value of a client on home care services. But when you look at the leaders, why is a client more valuable to a leader than it is for somebody else? The answer, folks, is the leaders have a reputation. The leaders have a presence in the community. The leaders probably have a marketing representative, or the owner of the company is out marketing on a regular, consistent basis, and they're getting direct referrals coming in. And it does make sense. If I'm a hospital, am I going to refer a company that's got 10 clients on their census that doesn't really know what they're doing, that just opened their doors? Or am I going to refer somebody who's been in business for 10 years, who's taking care of 70, 80, 100 customers, and they've been doing this for a long time, and they know what they're doing? I'm going to refer the person I know is going to get the job done right. That's the leader. So it makes sense, but how can you, who's at 400 grand, how can you, who's at 1 million, become one of the leaders? That's what we're here for. But I want you to understand this is how much a client is worth to you depending on where you are, the size of your business. Now, there's only 2 places worth putting your money into getting business, all right? I just said you got to spend 5% of your annual revenue on getting business. There are a million different vehicles out there, but really it's all about online internet referrals and direct referral marketing. Those are the only 2 vehicles that are worth your money unless you have millions of dollars and you're a franchise or you're a corporation, and then you can invest in radio and television. Look at this right here. All right, look at radio. Only 3% of revenue from people who said this was one of their top referral sources came from newspaper. Radio, 1%. Television, 6%. But if you look at search engine optimization and Google AdWords or your search engine, if you're independent, if you're part of a corporate franchise, then it's like these 2 together. You combine it together, it's like 25, 30%. Your internet Google Plus, 22%. Your internet lead sites like caring.com, 8%. So your biggest return on your investment is going to come. That's weird. They have ads twice on their television. I wonder what that means. But anyway, when you look at this, the internet is where your business is going to come from. And this is half of it, not all of it, half of it. So we got to invest in that, and most of us understand that, and that's not my area of expertise. But to really get over that hurdle, we need the direct referral marketing. These are the best referral sources, and look at the percentage of revenue for the people who said this was their top referral source. All right? So you look at somebody like a home health company, home health agency, which is the highest one. Home health, our counterpart, part of that three-legged stool that I call home health, hospice, and private duty. Home health, almost 9% of the people who surveyed said this was their number one referral source. Look at the median, the amount of revenue that came from home health. 26% of their revenue came from that agency that was referring them. Next one down, 7.5% of people said the hospital is their top referral source. That was good for a quarter of their revenue. Assisted living, a quarter of the revenue. Skilled nursing facilities, 20% of their revenue. I don't talk about Medicaid and state agencies. This is a private pay, okay? Hospice, 17% of your revenue. CCRCs, the continuous care retirement communities, are all the professional relationships, 27% of the revenue. That's better than any single one of, I'll go back to the slide before, all of these accounts are better than any single other one of these internet leads. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So if you're not direct referral marketing, you are missing out on possibly 25 to 50% more revenue than you're currently bringing in. What could 50% more revenue do for you, your family, and your business? Just think about that for a second. And don't take my word for it. Again, where this is Home Care Pulse, this is where the leaders are getting their business from. Who are the leaders? People doing over $2.8 million. Basically, people doing $3 million plus. Just like I said, don't believe me. Don't trust me. Trust the Almanac, the source that surveyed over 1,200 agencies. All right, because they have the data. This is what they said. Now they asked the people, "Where's your biggest opportunity for growth?" A third of the agencies said strengthening relationships with referral sources. Where am I going to get my business from? How am I going to grow my organization? That's right. Strengthening your relationship with referral sources. That's the number one answer like 5 years in a row. 5 years in a row, it's the number one answer. It's all about direct referral marketing, folks. Here's what you want to do. Write this down, okay? You're going to create a top 20 list. You're going to focus your marketing effort on 20 accounts. Get a couple hospitals. Get 7 or 8 skilled nursing facilities. Get 3 or 4 CCRCs. You got to create power partners, the home health and the hospice. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Get a couple of those. Physicians are not good referral sources, but physicians are like a general in the Army at a hospital. So physicians can help you get into hospitals. Physicians can help you get into skilled nursing facilities. So that's why I put them up here. And then your assisted living and your independent living communities, you're going to get some business from them too. Get 3 or 4 of those on your top 20. Create a diversified list. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket, right? So it's diversified. You're spreading the wealth and you're going around all over the place. This is good. That's where your direct referral marketing comes from. So it starts with having a plan of people you're going to see on a regular basis. Now back to the execution, all right? Because we got the plan down, all right? You got to invest in a website for the online leads. So this is the 21st century, folks. It is 2018, so if you haven't done your website in 10 years, it's time for a new one. If you haven't done a website in 5 years, it's time for a new one. I'm going to tell you, folks, a good website, it's going to cost you like $8,000, $9,000 for a really good website that really works. My websites are around, I bought a new website last year. It was $9,000, $9,000, but it's worth it because my business generates referrals. Our website generates leads for us, and we make millions of dollars in revenue, right? Invest in SEO. That's obvious. You may want to consider the person in your chamber, or you may want to consider some of the national providers out there. I like the national providers because they know our industry, and they don't have to learn it for us. It's more plug and play for them versus us having to sit down and explain it to somebody. And then obviously you got to invest in social media strategy. Many of you found out about this webinar because of Facebook, so you got to invest in social media. There's 1 billion people on Facebook. There's hundreds of thousands and millions of people on Snapchat and LinkedIn and all the other sources that exist out there. You have to be on social media. There's your execution of your online leads. Now, when it comes to direct referral marketing, it's a little bit different. This right here is actually from the 2015 Home Care Pulse Report, because this is the only one that I saw where they actually put together what are the skill sets that you have to have. Because, by the way, if you're sitting there listening to me right now, you don't have to have a marketing rep, okay? You do not have to have a marketing rep. A lot of people think, I got to have a marketing rep. I got to have a marketing rep. No. Most of our clients are owner-operators doing the marketing themselves until they grow the business to a point where they can afford the luxury of hiring a marketing rep, and then they hire a rep. Or they love marketing so much they continue to market, and then they hire other staff members. Something you may want to consider doing. It's a lot easier to find a scheduler and a recruiter. It's very hard to find a good marketing representative. So just think about that. But when you look at what it takes to develop referral sources, relationship building is 34% of the process. Now, if you've ever had a relationship before, if you've ever been married, if you've ever been on a date, you ever had a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, right? I'm not equal opportunity, right? Whatever you've been with, that means you have friends. You know how to be in a relationship. You know how to build relationships. That's a skill that can be honed. 25% of it is individual character and God-given talent. So, yes, that is something that is innate in the person, but that's only 25% of it. I'll give you an example. Brian Macklis, who is the owner of Care Choice, the company I came on for in 2005 before I became his business partner in 2009. Brian was not the greatest marketing personality, but Brian had the other 75% of what's up here. He knew how to follow up. He knew how to communicate his company to people, and he knew how to build relationships. And that's how he got his company started off the ground and grew it to $600,000, $700,000 before I came on. And then I'm the person who had the 25% that he was lacking, plus the rest of it. And that's when I knocked it out the park and I dominated, and we blew this company up. So just think about that for a second. You don't have to have a marketing rep. This is what it takes. We can help you with it. This is why I'm here. All right? Next, write this down. Write this down. This is the formula for success. The formula for success. Remember back when you had to learn those empirical equations and chemistry and stuff in college? It was rough. It was like, oh, man, this is tough. What is a mole? Oh, my goodness. I thought it was something that you could get in your skin. Nope, it is a chemistry term. But anyway, 35 to 45 face-to-face visits. That's what that means. It means every single week you got to see 35 to 45 people face-to-face. Now, going to a networking event and talking to 5 people, that's 5 face-to-face visits there. Going to a CEU event and you talk to 3 people there, that gives you 8 for the week. Then you drive around to 10 places, 10 referral sources, and you talk to 3 people in each one, that is 30 more. And so now you have 38 face-to-face contacts in a week. Extremely, very attainable. That's why my clients are so successful, because it is attainable. It's attainable. 1 L&L, lunch and learn in service. That's what that means. 1 networking event. Going to a networking event every week. 1 community event, like a wine and cheese tasting or a dine and dash, something like that, an assisted living community. That's going to help you to get referrals. 1 sponsored activity. That's going to help you to get referrals. So you sponsor bingo or something of that nature. You do these activities, these marketing efforts every single week, that's going to help you to get business. And somebody asked me a question before. I'll read the question out loud, but I saw it, and I just want to answer it real quick. Where is this question? Here we go. All right, what topics or policies can we implement to increase the average lifetime value of our clients? In our location, major competitors have a 2-hour minimum with no long-term contract. Are these factors that can affect the lifetime value? Very good question, Logan. And the answer to that is you got to have a strong sales process. You got to have a minimum. So our minimum was 20 hours a week. So we didn't take a client unless it was 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. And you have to have a strong operation. So you have to be able to go in and paint a picture with words. So my closing process, this is something I'm going to go over at the boot camp, because I don't have too much time here. I want to keep everybody, but I do want to answer. This is a boot camp topic, okay? This is why I say come to the Hurricane Boot Camp, all right? It's a boot camp topic, closing, right? Getting business, getting referral, closing business. When you sit down with a prospective client, you have to paint a picture with words. When somebody says to you, I would like a bath visit 2 days a week for 2 hours, Okay? You say, yes, we can do that. You go to that person's house, you sit down and meet with that person. You have to go in realizing, Logan, that 2 hours to do a bath visit, if somebody needs help with a bath visit, what else does this person need help with? Because a bath, a shower, is something that's pretty easy for the average person to do. Like, Logan, you probably got up this morning and took a shower, right? I know I got up this morning. I worked out. I took a shower. I had breakfast. I had lunch a little while ago. I've been working all day. A shower is a pretty easy thing. So if somebody needs help with a shower, what else do they need help with? When I go into that house for the person who wants the shower bath visit, and I have a closing process and I know what I'm going to say, I'm going to go over all the things that we do. I'm going to do a full detailed assessment to find out what the person actually needs, not what they want, but what they actually need, and then I'm going to present to them a situation where 20 hours or 28 hours or 40 hours a week or whatever it is that this person needs to be able to remain home safely out of the hospital, and then I'm going to ask them to sign up with me. And if they say yes, I will take good care of them, and we will keep that person home out of the hospital. If they say no, then you must be willing to walk away from the business, because you got to realize if somebody needs help with the bath and you're telling them that you got to get X, Y, and Z and they want A, B, and C, who's the expert? The person who's never been through this before, or you, who's the agency who's been here 100 times? You are the expert. It's almost like you're the doctor and you're telling your patient to take their medicine and they don't want to take their medicine. Well, then you might die, and it's not going to happen on my watch. So good luck to you, and you go to somebody else. Remember at the very beginning I said referrals equals what, Logan? Freedom. Referrals equals freedom. When you have an abundance of referrals coming in, you control how you run your business. You can have minimums. You don't have to work. You said many of your competitors have a 2-hour minimum with no long-term contract. Forget about your competitors. When you have all the referrals coming in, who cares about your competitors? It's all about you running your business. And I know it's a very difficult thing for somebody who's brand new, but trust me, don't worry about your competition. Worry about yourself and what you can do and how you deliver it, and your business will grow stronger because of it. Very, very good question, Logan. And I hope I just like Mario squat jumped on that answer to tell you how to do it, man, because you can totally do this. I believe in you. You just got to follow this program here and get the referrals. Make your phone ring. You can answer the phone and handle it when the phone is ringing off the hook. Trust me on this, all right? Here's your marketing plan, execution. Let's get one home health company, just one home health company that's maintaining about 100 clients on their census to refer you 5% of their clients that they have over the course of an entire year. Now, folks, is 5% an unrealistic number? Not at all. Why do I like 100 clients? Well, if they have 100 clients in their census, just knowing the average length of stay on home health, the average person who goes on home health is on services for about 60 days. That's 2 months, right? So over the course of an entire year, those 100 people are going to turn over 5-6 times, which will give you 500, 600 patients, and 5% is around 25 clients. So one well-qualified home health, you execute and you go out and you get one home health to refer you 5% of their patients, that's 25 clients this year. That's 2 clients a month. Just 2 clients. Think about it. Break it down to the ridiculous. Every 2 weeks, you get 1 client from this home health company. That's all you're asking for. Because a lot of times, we don't refer practically. We don't have any referrals. We don't have any referrals. You got 100 clients. You're going to tell me you don't have anybody in 2 weeks, in 1 person in 2 weeks, and you're maintaining 100? Yes, you do. Yes, you can. Oh, well, when you put it that way, yes, we can. Yes, we do. There's a lot more that goes into it. At the boot camp, I'm going to go over this, but this is the first part of your marketing plan for 25 clients. I just said for the leaders, $17,000. 25 clients, $17,000. What's that? $350,000 in revenue. For the average, $250,000 in revenue, right? Just think about that. One hospice, same thing. They got to maintain about 100 clients. Now think about the nature of hospice for a second here. When somebody goes on hospice, it usually is the last stop, all right? We're talking end of life, total care, round the clock, big cases. Now, they may only be on your services for 3 weeks. But in California, where the boot camp is, and a lot of you are in California, I know you're charging $25 an hour. $25 an hour times 24 hours a day times 7 days a week, that's like $4,000 a week. So if you're charging $4,000 a week a person for 3 weeks, that's $12,000. All right? Now, at the same time, when it comes to hospice, if there's ever a time that someone's going to spend money, it's when someone is actively dying. And you can come in, you bring in that 24/7 client. They're not with you that long, all right? But you get to be the angel. You get to be the hero that got to help mom in her remaining days. And the family is so grateful and so appreciative for it. They don't care about the money. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the money. I think that's where so many of us get hung up when it comes to changing our rates and paying our caregivers more money. And well, we got these regulations. Whatever. Home care it's health care. Health care is going to be regulated. That's the nature of the business. Complaining about regulations is, like I said, complaining about an electrician. I could get electrocuted out here. That's your job. That's part of your job. So don't worry about the money. Worry about providing the care, and the money is just an exchange of fee for service, but provide the care, and the money's going to come. I promise you that. Remember, I was charging $3.50 an hour more than the average. So if I was in your area and your average price is $25, guess what I'd be charging? $28.50. And guess what? People would still be signing up with me. You know why? Because of my processes. And we took damn good care of our clients, all right? So 100 clients on their census, 5% is easily 25 to 30. There's another 25 clients there. That's 50 clients to a leader. We're talking about $700,000 in revenue. To the average agency, $500,000 in revenue from 2 referral sources. Then we're going to have the CCRC. You get 5 to 10 clients from the independent, same for the assisted, and same for the skilled nursing, all on one giant campus. That's 75 clients, which is $750,000 for the average agency, and about 1.2, 1.1 for the leaders, because their clients are worth more because they have the processes, the reputation. They're going to get sicker patients. They know what they're doing a little bit better, and they're going to be able to handle it a lot easier. So they're almost at $1.5 million in revenue from just 3 referral sources. And then you add a fourth one here, skilled nursing facility or an LTAC, which is a long-term acute care hospital that's discharging 50 or more patients a month. Because if they're discharging 50 patients a month, that's 500 to 600 patients a year, and 5% is going to be 25 to 30 clients. That's a patient every other week. That's 100 new patients at $17,000 for the people doing over $3 million a year. Because when you get your business there, your operation and stuff, that's what's going to happen. These are operational things, all right? $17,000 per client, 100 new clients. That's $1.7 million. You add to that the other half of it coming from your internet, your direct referral, your internet marketing with all of your SEO, your website, your social media, all of that good stuff, your pay-per-click ads. The other half of it, it matches it. There's $3 million. That's your plan. $1.5 million from your revenue, from your online stuff, and $1.5 million from your direct referral marketing effort. That's a $3 million business. And being able to close it and being able to make these power partnerships and connect. How do I get into a skilled nursing facility when I don't know anybody in a skilled nursing facility? Well, it's very easy to get into a home health company. Many home health companies are referred by skilled nursing facilities, so you get in with the home health company first, and then you leverage the relationship to get into the CCRC and the skilled nursing facilities, which are a little bit juicier accounts. The sick end up in a nursing home, right? Rehab, LTAC. The sickest, the weakest, the people with the greatest need end up there. You want a stroke patient who's going to need 24/7 or 84 hours a week, you go to an LTAC or a skilled nursing facility, that's where you're going to find it. If you want somebody with a hip replacement who will need round-the-clock care for 3 months when he or she comes home from the hospital, where are you going to find that patient? At a skilled nursing facility or an LTAC. So it's worth your weight getting in there. And you notice how I put this? I just gave you 4 counts. The reason I have you focus on 20 is, you ever hear the 80-20 rule? 80% of my business comes from 20% of my referral sources, right? So if I have you focusing on 20, the best 20 in the area, I know you'll get at least one of each of these to refer you 25 patients a year, which will give you 100 new patients for the year. It's very simple. And here's a bonus one. Most of us on this website, on this webinar right now, are not ready for hospitals. And I say that, with all the love in my heart. Unless your business is geared up and ready operationally to handle same-day discharges, on a consistent, regular basis, you're not ready for a hospital. So I'll say 2019, so let's make 2018 your best year. Let's get those 4 core accounts to start referring you. Then we leverage our relationship in those core 4 accounts to help us get into the hospital in 2019. You find one hospital which discharges an average number, because most hospitals around the country are all over the place, but an average hospital discharges around 2,400 patients a year. That's 200 patients a month. You get 5%. That's 10 referrals a month. That's 50 to 100 clients a year. So now you see how I'm doing this. Now you see how I was able to get this, 40, 50, 60 referrals a week, because when you have all these accounts referring you on a regular, consistent basis, that's what happens. Every day you get 5 to 10 referrals. Your phone is ringing off the hook. You don't have to deal with minimums. You can increase your minimums. You can charge $3 an hour more than your competitors, the average price. Don't be the high. We weren't raking people over the coals. I want you to know that. $23.50 an hour was our price, and everybody else was $20 an hour. The high person was charging $26. So I wasn't the highest priced, but I was definitely significantly higher than the average. Nothing about me is average, okay? And nothing about your business should be average either. 150 to 200 clients, that right there, do the math, $17,000 per client. You're talking about a $4 million agency right there, just from your direct referral marketing effort, not including your internet, your SEO. That's where it really happens. This is how we were doing $5+ million a year in 2011, 2012. And then right over here, a little bit of inside information. This is actually from the very first slide of how to develop a referral source. It's actually a 6-step process of developing a referral source. That is the key meat and potatoes presentation of the Referral Masters Bootcamp next month. That's why I keep saying you got to come to it, because look at and think about it this way, right? This is what people always say to me, Steve, this was amazing. Think about this webinar. I mean, is this going good? I mean, there's 100+ people have been on this webinar so far. I'm not even finished yet. You're all still listening to it because obviously this is good information. And this is what I give away for free. So what the heck do you think I'm going to talk about at the bootcamp where you actually have to pay to come to it? It's going to blow this webinar. This webinar is a joke compared to what I'm going to talk about at the bootcamp, because I'm telling you what you have to do here, and here's your numbers, and here's how you qualify and all of that. At the bootcamp, I'm going to teach you how to get into these accounts. How do you get into a SNF, Steve? Well, at the bootcamp, I'm going to tell you that. How do you get an assisted living to refer you everything that they've got? I'm going to tell you to do it at the bootcamp. How do you get a hospital to start referring you? I'm going to show you how to do that at the bootcamp. But this is slide number 1 of how to develop a referral source, which is a 90-minute session I'm going to do on day 2 of that bootcamp, the Referral Masters Bootcamp. Some other food for thought straight from the Home Care Pulse report, right? Marketing representatives versus not having a marketing representative. Interesting. The agencies that don't have a marketing representative are doing about $1.2 million surveyed, and the ones that do almost $1 million more. Now, proceed with caution. One thing that Home Care Pulse did for me, they don't have it published in there, but they did for me when I had asked them, and I don't have the slide up here. I should have put it in. I'm sorry about that. I asked them, when does the average agency hire a marketing representative? And this is what I want you to write down. Remember I said at the beginning, take a take a notebook and a pen out. The average agency hires their first marketing representative when they're around $1 million. And that makes sense. That's when I would want you to hire a marketing representative, because when you're doing less than $1 million in revenue, to hire a marketer, which is one of your higher paying salaries, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And you want to make sure that you can financially handle the burden of hiring a marketing representative before you hire that person. I've seen people try to do it too soon, and it backfires on them. It's not fair to the marketing rep, and it's not fair to the business owner either. I like healthy entrepreneurs. I want you to be a healthy entrepreneur. Trust me on this one. You'll be good. Wait until you're over $1 million. Hire your marketing representative. Real quick, I see another question that came in. I'll answer it. Logan asked this one before. Oh, I nailed it. Oh, you're very welcome, Logan. You're very welcome. Happy New Year, buddy. Let's see. Erwin asked me, as a direct referral marketing, if you are working full-time, is this possible? Yes, this is totally this is full-time effort, all right? Paul said, I nailed the question. Thank you. or will we receive this webinar via email? It's a lot of information. I'm not sure, Erwin. My staff takes care of all of that, so I'm gonna guess and say yes, it is being recorded. So they set this up. I'm just the brains. I don't do anything else. I'm sorry, I'm not the brains. I'm the good-looking face, right? So I don't know if it is being recorded. That much I know, so you'll probably get it. Another thing you want to do is track all of your inquiries. Track all of your inquiries. Companies, look at the difference. If you don't, I have actually had clients say, we don't track our inquiries. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to leave about 30% of your revenue on the table because you don't want to track your inquiries. Tracking your inquiries lets you know where your referrals come from. You can go back and thank people. You can get more business from it. It makes you actually truly know. Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm getting all these referrals on the internet. And it's like, yeah, but did they actually get it from the internet, or did they get it from somebody else? Then they went on the internet and then they contacted you from the internet. You got to dig deeper, but you have to track every referral. The revenue difference is almost 33%. It's significant. So now let's talk about the last part of this, right? The supply, okay? This is what every person who's struggling tells me. I've got to get caregivers before I can market. This sounds so good, Steve. If I only had caregivers, what am I going to do, all right? And this is an old slide here from 2015 Almanac. They don't have this one anymore, but they asked, what is everybody's biggest fear? And everyone is scared to death of not having enough caregivers. Oh, no, what am I going to do? Believe me, I understand. I was there. I know what it's like. Supply and demand. Supply and demand is the answer, but I want you to think about this before I go into the solution here. Mindset is everything. It's everything. Losers, and I'm not calling anybody here a loser, but I'm just saying in general, losers visualize the penalties of failure. Winners visualize the rewards of success. It's all in the mindset. It is a glass half full or glass half empty. If you are going to complain about needing caregivers before you market, your business will fail. You will lose. Or if you are concerned about getting new business, growing your referrals, having the phone ring, and then when you meet with the patient, you will do whatever you can to staff it, and then magically, like some Houdini genie, just showed up at your desk, and you rubbed the lamp, and you said, I need a caregiver. Miraculously, a caregiver will show up. I don't know how it works. Positive things happen to positive people. Positive expectancy. I'm going to talk all about this at the boot camp. It's all in there. If you are a winner, if you visualize the success that you're going to have, it will happen. It is as simple as that. It'll materialize. It'll be real. I have on my desk and a copy of it by my bed and a copy of it in my home gym and a copy of it in my car, my 2018 goals and resolutions. I got some personal ones in here, like I want to be a better husband to my wife. My wife and I have an awesome marriage, and I still want to improve it because I love her more than anybody in the world. I'm going to preach 10 times this year. I'm going to visit and pray with people who are elderly and shut in at least once a month. These are my goals. I see it everywhere. I visualize it, and guess what? By the end of this year, I'm going to do that, including taking 16 weeks off this year. I usually take 12 weeks off. I'm going to take 16 weeks off this year. I'm going to speak at an event with more than 5,000 people at it this year. I'm going to lose 25 pounds by June 30th. All of these things are my goals that I visualize it, and so therefore it shall happen. I manifest it into reality, and my brothers and sisters in home care, you too can do the same thing. Now, here's what we got to do. Recruitment has to be simultaneous. You don't recruit and then market. Direct referral marketing takes about 3 months to really get going if you've never done it before. And if you've dabbled in it, it'll still take you a good 2 months before you start getting referrals. So if you wait until you have caregivers and then start marketing, 2 months later you're going to get the phone to ring. But in 2 months, those caregivers will be working for someone else and they'll be gone. You must do both simultaneously. It is the very nature of our business. If you can't do it, then maybe this is not the right business for you. There, I said it. All right? This is not a business for everybody. This is a hard business. This is a hard business. You know, many times I have clients like, man, I'm in the wrong business. I'm like, you might be, right? It's a hard business, but that them's the breaks. But anything worth having is worth fighting for. Anything worth having is worth effort, blood, sweat, and tears. You know, I said this at the Denver boot camp over the summer. If you haven't cried in your office, you're not working hard enough. All right? You know how many times I've cried in my office over the years? At least 15 times I've cried in my office because it gets so hard, because stuff happens. Being a business owner is hard. Being an entrepreneur is hard. But you know what? Being a man is hard. All right? Being a woman, I'm sure, is hard, right? You guys got to give birth and stuff. Oh, my God. It's horrible. So, yeah, suck it up, Buttercup. We got this. We can do this, all right? I'm with you. I'm going to fight with you. I'm a champion. Let's go win this together, all right? Ads. Place ads, but not just place ads. Think about where you're placing your ads. You're going to place ads online. Target the ads online towards the people who would see it. Target it towards your millennials online. Still use newspaper ads. When you place an ad in a newspaper, target people who are like 50 plus. You know, there's a great franchise out there called Seniors Helping Seniors, and I love their model. They find people who are retired or very close to retirement, and they hire them as caregivers. These are people who are older generation, who are like 55, 60 years old. They can relate better to our clients than anybody else. They have work ethics, so they show up on time, they don't cancel, and they care about their job in a way that, unfortunately, a lot of the younger people don't. So if you want really good caregivers, place ads in the newspapers and say, looking for somebody over the age of 50 years old. You're not discriminating. You're just looking for somebody older. Why? Because you have a client who can relate to them better. Just that's your answer. And if somebody younger than that calls, like, I'm 40 years old and I want to work for the job, great, come in, fill out an application, we'll hire you. Like, don't worry about it. Just place the ad, all right? You're not discriminating anybody. Employee bonuses. Now, this is something I've said so many times over the years. The employee bonus has to be three things. Number one, it has to be attainable. Many people out there try employee bonuses, and they do it, and you got to work for 90 days or 3 months before you get the bonus. Make it easy. You want caregivers, don't you? So make it easy. You know what our bonus was? You work 2 weeks. You send us a caregiver, and they work 80 hours. Once they've worked 80 hours, we give you your bonus. So that could be like a month from now, you get your bonus. The next part, the second thing, is you got to make it worthwhile. I've seen agencies, we do a $50 caregiver bonus, and nobody refers us. $50 isn't anything. $50. Do you realize, I have a family of 5, right? We went out to see Ferdinand, the movie about the bull, and it was really cute and stuff. We saw that last weekend. Just for the 5 of us, not including popcorn and ices and candy for my kids, right? Just for the movie tickets, for the 5 of us, was $60. $60 for my family of 5, and 3 of them are children prices, because it was $15 for me and the wife, and it was like $12 for the kids. $60 almost for us to go to the movies. $50 is not an employee bonus. Nobody's excited about that. I don't blame a caregiver. Here's what I like to recommend to people. This is what we actually did. In that Home Care Pulse report, they actually talk about the financial cost of acquiring one caregiver, meaning when you do the urinalysis and the screening and orientation, everything, all the ads and everything to get a caregiver to come in and actually work for you, it costs almost $600. So if it costs you $600 to get a caregiver already, take half of that and give it to their caregiver who refers you, so you get 2 caregivers for the price of 1. Because you're only referring the person if they work for 2 weeks. So you're only going to pay them if they work for 2 weeks. So the employee bonus is $300. Now, you're going to get some caregivers who are like, whoa, $300? $300 is a lot of money. I could get a new phone. I could get this. I can get some sneakers or whatever. I'm going to send my friends to work for you. And then the last thing about the employee bonus is you got to make sure that it is a culture of recruitment in your offices. And this is something I talk a little bit about the boot camps. And I actually created this whole new training program around training people's staff. I've been flying all across the country, going to New Orleans, coming up, Connecticut. Pennsylvania, some other places, because I'm going to be training people's office staff. If you can't get your office staff to answer the phones correctly, if you can't get your office staff to remind a caregiver every time they give them a paycheck, every time they speak to them on the phone, every time they send an email, every time they come into the office to talk about something, with every correspondence, with every touch that you have with your caregiver, if your staff can't remind them, hey, don't forget employee bonus, don't forget employee bonus, don't forget employee bonus, and not do this for like 6 months, forever. Your business is a culture of recruitment. If you can't get your staff to do it, you got the wrong staff, or you're not driving your business the right way. In our business, Care Choice, every time we touched a caregiver and spoke to a caregiver and sent them an email or anything, it was constantly, do you have a caregiver who can write $300, $300? Do you have a caregiver, a friend of yours, anybody? We always asked and we always got. And you know what's really cool when your employees send the majority of your caregivers? When you're out marketing, people ask, where do you get your caregivers from? Well, Justin, that's a very good question. We take such good care of our caregivers that they actually refer their friends to come work for us, because we are the best agency to work for in the area, because the way we take care of our people. How impressive is that? Same thing to a client. So I know Logan asked me earlier, how do you deal with a client, whatever. I'm telling the client we're $23.50 an hour when everybody else is $20. Remember that, all right? So if your average right now is $25, I'm charging $28.50. Somebody's like, whoa, $28.50? Yeah, somebody probably told you we're the best though, right? Well, a good product isn't cheap, and a cheap product isn't good. Yes, it's $28.50 an hour. No, I can't do any better on the price, but I promise you, we're going to take real good care of your mother. Okay, that's all I need to know. And then they sign on a dotted line. Confidence, confidence, confidence. Do you know where we get our caregivers from? They refer their friends because of how good we take care of them. So how good do you think they're going to take care of your mother? Amazing care. Here's the dotted line. Sign on it. Boom. Thank you for your deposit. Live-in caregiver. We got it going. Boom. $3,600 a week. Right? That's how it works. That's how you do it. I'm telling you, man. It's like clockwork. Click, 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 click. Snap, 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 snap. And then last is flyers. Make flyers. Post the flyers in the communities where your caregivers live. All right? I used to do this all the time. I carry them in my car, little pull tab flyers. Think about it. Caregivers, with all due respect, and this isn't anything. It's a socio-economic truth. Caregivers are usually not college educated. Caregivers are usually not, millionaires. They're not living in a mansion on the hill, right? Caregivers usually live in apartment complexes or apartment communities, right? So you flyer the mailboxes with your literature, offering a job. I went to a community once and I did this, and I got the superintendent. Like, one of the supers came by. I was like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm putting up this employment flyer. He's like, why are you doing it? I said, well, we're trying to help people get employment. So I'm sure you have people who haven't paid their rent, or they're late on rent, or they're between jobs. So I'm trying to help them find work. And the guy goes, oh, okay, that's great. Let me help you. And he helped me put out the flyers, right? Like, so don't worry about it. Think about caregivers, right? They live in apartments. A lot of apartment complexes do not have laundry. So go to the laundromats, and you post it in the laundromats. In some areas, depending on how you do your business, you might be able to use mass transit. Post the bus stops, because caregivers use mass transit. You got to think like a caregiver. Post the flyers where caregivers hang out, and you'll get caregivers. And then last, increase your rates. I know in California, like if I said increase your rates $1, if I increase your rates $1 in California with your compliance and stuff over there, that's going to be like 40 cents that the caregiver gets, because the other 60%, 60 cents or whatever, will cover all of the costs associated with it or whatever. But you increase your rates. You do what you got to do. Because remember at the very beginning, I just told you, you get the referrals. The more referrals you have, the more freedom you have to run your business. No, we're not the lowest priced person in the area. You can go with the lowest priced person in the area. I remember when I would sit down with people who would tell me that $23 an hour was too much and they couldn't afford it and then whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, I truly did not care if they did not go with me. And it's not that I don't care. I do care. But I did not care if they didn't go with me. I wasn't afraid to lose the business. We're $23.50. If you can't afford us, that's fine. You can go with the guy down the street who's $20 an hour, and he'll probably take good care of you too. But if you go with us, yes, it's $23.50. This is what I used to say, but I promise you, we are going to take excellent care of your loved one. And we had a 98% success ratio. 98%, which means that out of 50 cases, 49 people loved us and one person we messed up. And so it was fine. That's how you do it, though. That's how you do it. You sit on your price. You understand. Think about it. If you went to the store and you bought something, you can do better on the price. No, you can't do any better on the price. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's just business, and it's supply and demand. You have a caring heart. You're going to provide excellent care. And you and I both know, anybody on this webinar right now, I probably went over time. I got to get out of here. I got to jet. These are some of our clients, some of our testimonies we've had over the years. This guy grew 25% in 6 months. This person right over here came to an event, boom, loved it, business growing up and blowing up. This person came to an event a couple days later, went out marketing with his power partner, got a referral from a social worker. This particular individual went to a conference, went out again, started co-marketing with a hospice, raved to the case manager, got into a local hospital. Look at that. And will you be my next success story, folks? Of course you will, because you're going to do it because you're awesome, because it's 2018 and this is our mission here. We are here to help our seniors age in place with dignity and grace. These are pictures of me when I used to go marketing. We did Toys for Tots drives. I was invited to awesome banquets and events. I took out people to a Giants-Jets game. This was my #1 referral source. We went out to celebrate just all the awesome things. They referred me like 50 clients that year. And then over here, his bottom right picture is me at a boot camp with Brian, who is next to me. He was he was the owner, and I became his business partner. And then you have two other people who are my power partners at a skilled nursing facility. I'm sorry. That was an assisted living community in Somerset County, Somerset Township. So amazing things happen when you execute the plan, you have fun, and you grow your business and you change lives. And so, folks, I'm going to remind you again, the boot camp, okay? You want to make 2018 your best year, you got to get the training. You got to get the know-how. You got to be able to walk the walk. You must be there. February 14th, 15th, and 16th is Valentine's Day. I'm going to love you. There's already over 100 people registered and confirmed. It's going to be insane. Insane. And I'll tell you what, because I love you, all right, and it is Valentine's Day, because it's New Year's, I know you want to get in on this, all right, it's $799 to go to the boot camp. That's the full price. By the end of the day, I'm going to give you 24 hours to think about it. To save money. For 24 hours, you go to this website. This is my website, homecaremarketing.net/Hurricane Bootcamp. That's the website. And you enter promo code CA for California, CA100. I will give you $100 off. So you'll save $100, but that code ends tomorrow night at midnight. So if you want to go on now and do it, you book your flights or whatever. If you're in the area and you could do it, what? Yeah, it's capital CA, so you see it right there, capital CA 100, all right, and it saves $100. Also, it'll be $699 for you instead of $799 as my thank you to help you have a successful year. A 3-day event. The topics that I'm going to discuss are how to develop a referral source, 6 steps from qualifying the account all the way through getting your foot in the door, getting past the gatekeeper, doing your lunch and learn, your tour etiquette, getting them to refer you regularly, and then becoming their exclusive referral partner, which takes about 6 months' time. I'm going to train you how to do that. I'm going to train you on how to create power partners. What is a power partner? A power partner is somebody who offers a service or a product that's synergistic to ours. Remember I talked about home health, I talked about hospice, right? Home health and hospice are the 3-legged stool of home care providers with us in the private duty, right? We get in with them. We leverage our relationship. They help us get into the skilled nursing facilities and the hospitals and the CCRCs and the assisted living and all the other great referral sources that we need to get into. How do you create a power partner? Who's going to do that? That's the very first topic on day 1 at the boot camp on February 14th, all right? Then I'm going to talk about killer campaigns. How do you differentiate yourself? You may be sitting there right now, Steve, this is great, but I got 600 competitors in my market. How am I going to ever be able to defeat them? You need specialty programs. How do you create a specialty program? How do you market it? How do you push it? How do you explain it in a way that leads to you getting exclusive, remember that word, exclusive referrals, where people are like, you know what? We refer these companies here, but every time I have a stroke patient, I'm going to give it to you. Every time I have a dementia patient, I'm going to give it to you, because so now you are a cut above the rest. You're the only person that specializes in strokes. You're the only person that specializes in orthopedics. So you're not just a home care company, you are a specialist. That helps you to stand out from the crowd. That is going to be covered at the boot camp. We're going to touch on closing. We have guest speakers coming in who are going to talk about varieties of different things, from what it's like being an owner marketing him or herself, what it's like being a marketing representative out there, and what are the things that we have to do on a regular basis and how to execute it. We're going to talk about sponsoring activities and what are the activities you could do to differentiate yourself that referral sources actually want, and then how to leverage those sponsored activities for business. We're going to talk about, oh my gosh, I can't even think of it. There's so many different things we're going to talk about. We have other guest speakers too. Kevin's going to be there. We have a bunch of sponsors going to be there. And then at the end on day 3, it's my I'm going to say my most requested motivational windup, because this is a hard business. And I call it The Power is Within. I created it back in 2012, and I just let loose, and I have fun with it, and the people in the audience, we're laughing, we cry, we have an amazing time, and then you will be lit on fire. And now, instead of being ignorance on fire, you'll be knowledge on fire. And when you launch from the boot camp and you go back successfully, your business will be completely transformed. It'll be 3 days of power, motivation, instruction, know-how, and it's all specific towards home care businesses. This is why I'm in business for 6 blessed years right now. I cannot wait to see you. This event will sell out. We sell out every single boot camp. So not only is this your chance to save money, but say you buy the ticket on Monday and it's full price and you don't save the $100 because that code is going to end tomorrow at midnight. If you miss this event and you have to wait until February of 2019 for Referral Masters, you are going to hurt your business for the next 12 months. Don't let that happen to you. You can see on our website, you can see on our social media page, we have hundreds of testimonies of people who say, this was the best money I ever spent. I am so glad I came here. The information, the content, the energy, the motivation, I'm reignited. So I can't wait to go home and market and grow my business. This is what other people say about the event, because it's truly all about you. I am here to serve you. I am here to help you. And I truly want each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart, to go in your territories and truly blow away the competition. I thank you so much. I cannot wait to see you in a month and a half. It is going to be the best decision you've ever made. Sign up and register now. Save $100, and I'll see you in Irvine, California. I want to thank you all for being on this webinar today. It means a lot that over 100 of you took time out of your day to sit here and listen to me talk for the last hour plus. Again, you are all in my prayers, whether you believe or not. I'm not trying to put my beliefs on anybody, but I believe, and I pray every single day. I always pray for my business and for my staff and for my clients and my customers and for the people who follow me. And so you are all in my prayers. I wish you all the best. God bless. Make 2018 your best year yet, and I'll see you soon.